Dave had a guy on his show called Alex Epstein who does a lot of talks about climate change. My question is, do you know him? Have you ever listened to him?
No, is this the meat guy or the
carbon? He wrote a book called The Moral Case for Fossil Fuels.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I obviously believe in scientific consensus and things like that. But when I listened to him, it was really interesting because I could not think of a counter argument. And he actually doesn't deny climate change. He believes there's anthropomorphic human-induced climate, but he goes at it from an interesting view about cost-benefit analysis, looking at, well, what do we get out of fossil fuels versus what do we get out of renewables? So I guess my question, and I've looked at a few other videos, and I have not heard a coherent rebuttal to it, which is weird because it's very much against what everyone else says. So I guess, number one, my question is, you're a skeptical person, you've done a lot of stuff. If you would look into it, it'd be really interesting to me to see what is another side to it. I guess you can't answer to it now because you haven't heard about it. And then number two, I think you said you're a good friend of Bill and I would love to see if you could moderate a debate between those two. At least for me, it would be very interesting to actually hear if someone can actually kind of refute his ideas.
Well, let me just toss in one thing about Alex. First off, I got an insane amount of hate for doing that show. Insane. I mean, more than Milo, more than Cernovich.
Yeah,
I got
was there
a ton
anything that was coherent? That was a rebuttal.
Well, what's interesting, what I would credit him for more than anything else, and first off, the way you laid out what he said is actually correct. So it's very obvious to me that you've done some research and you've listened. Because people were saying, hey, put a climate denier on, and blah, 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 and they were angry at me. Okay, fine. What he did after, immediately, he saw the criticism, and he then did a video. Yeah. What did he took, like 100 questions?
2 hours, and he just went through it.
And just did it. That's the battle of ideas. Now, at the end, you still may not like what he said, but I got a great deal of credit for him and admiration for what he does. This guy believes something nobody's done. Who's going to do that? Who's going to go? I don't know how many of you go on a YouTube comment section. It ain't pretty. Like he spent hours answering questions from anonymous people. That takes a certain something. But I'll let you do that.
Yeah, well, I just want to hear, because it's so unusual that I want to hear an argument against it. I just haven't heard it yet. And I just thought, Michael, this is your wheelhouse.
If you're able to do a great way for us to collaborate on something.
Yes,
him and Bill Nye would be fantastic.
I'll watch your show with him, and then I should read the book because we do a lot on climate stuff.
Yeah, you should read the book, but also, Dave's presentation is great, but also he has an interview with The Blaze, which can be a little weird, but it's a really great discussion about some of just it's a totally different way to think about it. Anyway, I just would like to hear if someone can